Is it happening? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Woo! Sorry about not having no show yesterday. Did have a lovely Twitch last night for those who showed up. I had probably one of my best just throw down guesses in the entire world. Got plunked down and went, Cambodia. Or sorry, Thailand. Plunk! And I was like 5 miles away from where it was. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get that close again in such a move. Also, the viewers got to know that I can identify the Northwest via the trees and whether it's on the Canadian side or the American side based on how nice the road is. And it was Canada, in case you're wondering. So, here we are. Again, we're going to have 5 to 8 BlueSky codes available for this month's Charity Tuesday. And if any of you who are on BlueSky want to donate codes as well, we can up the ante and get as many people as we can those BlueSky codes, and they can jump over there. Yeah, so that's I'll have probably 5 myself, and my friend Andy is going to donate another 3 to 5, so it might be a lot that we'll have. And if you guys want to donate more, then we'll have one hell of a Charity Tuesday at the end of the month with a whole bunch of BlueSky codes for us to raffle off, and everybody can like high five and give each other hugs and see what life is like on a platform that currently does not have a Nazi infestation nor bots. That's the amazing thing, is that my entire feed are people. It's very weird to be like, oh, those are all people. There are no ads. There are no bots. There are no Nazis. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, monkey butt. Oh, geez, sweet little dog. What else? When I see it in the chat, we'll get there in a second. New BBBYQ filing is juicy. Yeah, finger's still going strong. Well, it's going strong, monkey. She doesn't know. She's just been sunning herself and eating and sunning and eating and sunning and eating. And okay. Alright. Take care of that. Jason Blackwell, Houston. Dried grapes are good for you. Sorry for the PSA. I'm just raising awareness. Jason Blackwell. Were you able to look at BBY document 1728 for Case Chapman? 1728 papers filed, blah. 1728 papers are juicy. I don't know why I go on blah. Well, wait, can I get the 1728 papers up here? Let me see if I can. One sec. If I can add a source. I want to add a window capture. Yes. Add source. I want to do another one. Oops. That's not... son of a bitch. That is not at all... What just happened? No. No. Trash that. Trash. Trash that. Trash. Try this again. Add source. Window capture. Add source. Add a new source. That's what I want. I want to call it Adobe. And then I have to select the window. This. We did it! Yay! Okay. All right. So this is 1728. It's a long one. Does that have a title? Oh, Debtors at all. The juicy part starts at the end of page 3. So you read it and you go, oh, what the heck? So, pursuant to the above description and the meaning of the word allowed in this context, is specified proposed plan, section blah, blah, blah. Shareholders get any distribution in equity or cash proceeds before the equity interests are extinguished, only if they enter into an agreement with the debtors so that the effect as underlined above and such agreement currently doesn't exist. Also, however, as explained in the background and argument sections, equity swaps trading data downloaded from the DTCC public price dissemination website shows circumstantial evidence of still open short positions in Bed Bath & Beyond's common stock, being used to hedge bonds corresponding to 2014 senior unsecured notes in 2024. Also as specified in paragraph 2 of DI 1438, the proposed plan and the motion were formulated after a robust diligence sharing process with the official committee of unsecured creditors and per debtors council NOAA blah blah blah. Proposed plan with UCC and DIP lenders. All holders of senior unsecured notes are represented by the Bank of New York Mellon, the trustee of all such notes on the UCC. And then it gets bold. Any holder of unsecured notes who has an open short position in Bed Bath & Beyond's common stock while voting for the proposal plan will be falsely certifying that Bed Bath & Beyond owes them the unpaid principal amount of the applicable positions or the amount established by reference to the books or records of the applicable indentured trustee, or as the case may be, in the amount of such claims held by each beneficial holder through its nominee as of the voting record date, as evidenced by securities position reports from the DTC or other applicable depository firm. I won't be honest with that phone call. While the fact the actual amount owed should be above the amount subtracted by the full proceeds from their short position, assuming they never have to close that position because the proposed plan doesn't offer any distribution of proceeds to the shareholders in exchange for tendering their shares, which otherwise, where I lost the spot, which otherwise would prompt shareholders to have lent their shares to recall them back, thereby in turn causing the short positions to be closed. This will be in violation of Securities and Exchange Act, Section 17A2, potentially 17A1, potentially SEC Rules 10b-5a and 10b-5b, which in turn will make the proposed plan unconfirmable due to violation of Sections 1129A3 of the Bankruptcy Code. Okay. You're like, what? What's going on? A little step further here. Also, on January 5th, 2023, Bed Bath & Beyond reported in a press release that the previously commenced exchange offer and consent solicitation with respect to its unsecured senior notes for a new series of convertible notes, as previously reported in a press release on October 18th, 2022, was terminated after the offer expired on January 4th, 2023 after multiple extensions of the expiry date, with all note holders tendering their notes. This press release added that conditions to the exchange offer and consent solicitation were not satisfied with, as of last reporting, December 20, 2022. Blah, 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 percentage of the notes. Don't care about that. Snapshot of the post 2022-12 equity swap trading data downloaded from the DTCC PPD website shown in Exhibit D. It can be seen that there were a flurry of CFD swap transactions with very large notional amounts of up to $2 million US dollars per transaction, which were hedging corresponding large short positions in days leading up to the termination of the notes exchange offer. Also, FINRA short sale volume data shows that this coincided with a big jump in short sale volume to 60.64%. On January 3rd, 2023, the day before the expiry of the exchange offer. This caused a 7.97 drop in Bed Bath & Beyond price per share from $251 and the previous day at $231. At the market close on that day, this would have definitely deterred any unsecured note holders who were yet to tender their notes in exchange for convertible bonds and were contemplating on doing so as exchange. Notes in exchange for convertible notes, we're contemplating doing so as exchanging for convertible notes makes economic sense if price per share is expected to appreciate. The failure of the exchange offer prompted Bed Bath & Beyond to issue a possible bankruptcy warning and in the January 5th, 2023 press release. Moreover, as seen from the swap transaction published date, column snapshot, the equity swaps data Exhibit 8 for the flurry of CFD swap transactions, hedging for the larger short positions that were opened up leading to the possible bankruptcy warning was not published later until March 2023, indicating a possible attempt to hide those transactions. This shows a scheme where aggressive short selling by bondholders and or their affiliates, combined with the refusal by the bondholders to tender old unsecured notes, was instrumental in causing the failure of the exchange offer, which in turn eventually led to the company filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Now representatives of the same bondholders, Bank of New York Mellon and UCC, have collaborated with Bed Bath & Beyond to devise Chapter 11 plan, which causes the short positions opened by the bondholders and other affiliates never to be closed, and thereby they walk away with large proceeds from their open short position. This is a textbook violation of SEC Rule 10b-5a, Securities Exchange Section 17a1, which in turn will make the proposed plan unconfirmable due to a violation of Section 1129a3 of the Bankruptcy Code, as provisions of the proposed plan are forbidden by law shown above. The issue is being raised now, so debtors may resolve the situation by amending the proposed plan to offer distribution of proceeds of the common stock equity security holders, or alternatively, by mandating that any holders of senior unsecured notes who have short positions in Bed Bath & Beyond's common stock close their short positions before voting on the amended plan. Do you guys realize how juicy that is? Do you? Do you realize how juicy that is? Oh yeah, I got to put this down here somewhere. Bam. There we go. Okay, and then I got to, got to move that. Yonder. Do that. Hey, there we go. This filing is saying that the entire bankruptcy was caused by the bondholders purposely not converting their bonds into shares, specifically because they were shorting the company and they wanted to never have to pay back their shorts. So they were violating a host of bankruptcy and SEC laws by doing this, by playing both sides at the same time, and violating their own fiduciary duty to those bonds and making sure that they get paid back. This is, and then this finally basically says that if they want to have any say whatsoever in the bankruptcy proceedings, by law, they're going to have to close their short positions before they can do that. Oh boy. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. So, yeah, this is something really interesting to read. So, all right. Pursuant to the debtor's proposed plan, solicitation and voting procedures, holders of claims or interests will be deemed to have released certain parties unless they complete and submit electronic opt-out form through the e-ballot portal or public securities opt-out portal, so that it is actually received by notice and claims agent on before voting deadline. Third Circuit Court ruled that releasing parties have consented to a provision in a plan of organization that releases claims against non-debtors. Such releases will be approved on the basis of general principles of contract law. Under basic contract law, principles consent may be expressed or manifested by conduct. Parties of objectively manifest their acceptance and intent will be bound by a contract. I was talking about how inaction can result in essentially agreeing to something. Where's the other part? It's just citing. Okay. There's an identity of interest between the debtor and the third party, such as the suit against the non-debtor will deplete assets of the estate. The non-debtor has contributed substantial assets to the reorganization. The injunction is essential in reorganization. The impacted class or classes has overwhelmingly voted to accept the plan. The plan provides mechanism to pay for all or substantially all claims or of the class or classes affected by the injunction. The plan provides an opportunity for those claimants who choose not to settle to recover in full, and the bankruptcy court made a record of specific factual findings that support its conclusions. The non-consensual third-party release provisions in the motion do not meet the above test, specifically the above underlined factors. Also, as discussed in paragraph 1, if the motion is approved, as it is, it leaves a possibility of securities fraud being committed by the senior unsecured holders who hold open short positions in Bed Bath & Beyond's common stock and are represented by third-party UCC. Non-consensual third-party releases against such potential fraud claims have typically not been approved by courts. The issue is being raised now so that debtors may resolve the situation by changing the opt-out portion of their ballots to an opt-in form. Doing so will ensure that only those claimants who actually receive the forms and actually consent to give third-party releases will be deemed to provide the same. Approval of solicitation procedures should be denied absent this change being made. Basically saying these debtors got to let everybody know what they've done in shorting the stock. And so they can't also be short and want to get their money back from the bankruptcy proceedings. And In the motion, debtors are seeking an extension of the exclusivity period per Article blah, 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 of the motion of debtors statute that as of the end of the 2022 fiscal year, they had approximately $1.6 billion U.S. federal net operating losses and $143 million of disallowed business interest carryovers under Section 163 of the tax code, per the latest filed SEC 10-K form. On page 63, the debtors state that during the year ended February 25th, 2023, shares were reissued out of the treasury stock at a weighted average cost of $44.27 per share for a total of $3.1 billion. The difference between the cost of the treasury stock and the consideration received is recorded as a reduction in retained earnings on the consolidated balance sheets. These extensive deferred tax assets would have been used by debtors to market a maximized value of the estate to potential acquirer for takeover transaction. However, the asset sale transactions that have been pursued and executed so far by the debtors have been of assets that are parts of the estate instead of the entire estate itself, which would have made the transaction pursuant to blah, 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 blah. As a result, these transactions were not value maximizing and resulted in inadequate proceeds, which in turn were insufficient for effecting a successful turnaround. So far, this shows that the debtors have not fulfilled their fiduciary duty to the shareholders by pursuing a value maximizing turnaround strategy, and now, per the currently proposed plan, and motion, shareholders' equity expect to be extinguished with no distribution to shareholders. Also, in multiple court filings, like the motion, the debtors have described GameStop executive chairman Ryan Cohen's investment and exit from Bed Bath & Beyond 2022 in unfavorable terms, blaming him for the decline in stock price, while completely ignoring the investment and exit of Jake Freeman of Freeman Capital, who took a comparable investment position and exited one day before before Ryan exited from his position. On the other hand, Ryan Cohen has been listed as an interested party as of 1/19/2023 in multiple dockets. This is indicative of Bed Bath & Beyond board of directors prejudice towards Ryan Cohen, which might have possibly prevented a value maximizing takeover, as described above, where Ryan Cohen is acquiring party. The same situation may occur. The exclusivity period is not terminated, so we respectfully request the debtor's request for extension of the exclusivity period be denied, and also that the currently active exclusivity period be terminated so that third parties may represent alternative value maximizing Chapter 11 plans, which may generate better proceeds for all stakeholders. This is basically saying, let's extend this, and they're giving kind of reasons for why we should extend it, but what they want really is for the bondholders to be forced to close out their short positions. So that's basically what it is. I mean, you can go through the timeline if you want, but so yeah, cool. We're off the daytime. Nighttime went off. Bullets meet in the middle. Okay. BDO Iran just saw Richard Hoffman is asking AST for registered share count. If they say no, he wants to get a Cali judge to force disclosure. AST say, hey, we have this many shares. They've been updating that. There's apparently a bunch of confusion since I'm kicked off of Twitter. I only get all this stuff secondhand now, but there's a bunch of confusion, and people thought that there were 500 billion authorized shares. And there's 500 million authorized shares, all because somebody confused a comma for a decimal point. Which, granted, no one expects to see authorized shares have any fractional shares in there, so why would you have a decimal point in the first place? But this caused all sorts of problems with people not understanding how things work, thinking that all of a sudden there's going to be 500 billion shares in AST. There are not. There's only 200 million-ish shares in general. And there's another 300 million or so shares that are authorized that if the company wanted to, they could sell, give away, stick in a couch cushion. I don't know. But they have not sent those out. But, I mean, Richard Hoffman can try to compel AST to let that stuff be known. I don't know. Seems like a lot of work. Mario Valdez, Houston. What's the deal with Yellow Corp? Up 450% on the week with news of them heading towards bankruptcy. Doesn't make any sense. NBBYQ News P.S. Screw Nazis. Screw Nazis indeed. Yellow and Tupperware are doing weird things as they approach bankruptcy. Yellow doesn't have employees anymore. Everyone's basically been laid off. They will not make any of their shipping deals. Their customers will have to find new providers. So I have no idea why they'd be up. Like they're not going for reorganization. I think they're going for straight up Chapter 7. There's a big problem in that the largest shareholder of Yellow is you and me, the American taxpayers. We gave them a $900 million loan, which was then turned into convertible bonds, which were then turned convertible notes that were made shares. And so now American taxpayers own 30% of the Yellow Corporation. The CEO of Yellow during COVID lobbied Donald Trump really, really hard to have the U.S. government step in and send them $900 million and bail them out. And it appears they took that money and blew it. That while like shipping prices were insane, they frittered that money away and didn't pay us back, left us holding the bag. I don't know what the deal is and what the U.S. government's going to do about this basically $1 billion that we just wasted on Yellow, and 30,000 workers that now don't have jobs. And we're now paying for their pensions because apparently the company frittered away their pension plan. So I have no clue why the Yellow stock will be up at all. Not one, because they're ceasing to exist. They're not going for organization. They're just not going to exist anymore. Weird. Video brand Yellow is up because there is news that the very friendly and supportive group of Apollo Global Management may offer them a big loan. Such friendly and helpful guys in these trying times. Really? Really? Someone's going to offer them a loan, so they're going to hire back the 30,000 workers they just laid off. Which is crazy, is that the workers are like, oh, you guys are taking away all of our benefits and our pay and everything. And they renegotiated a new contract like a couple weeks ago with all their drivers, with the Teamsters. And they're like, yes, new money per hour, better benefits for medical. Cool. We're going bankrupt tomorrow. Not going to get any of those things. Very weird situation. Very weird indeed. Tedulus. Hey, H. You should do 90-minute rant about the shitty world leaders and their ways of governing so I can put it in a screenplay and have a monologue movie. All the credit would be yours. I need prompts, like specific prompts for me to just go on a good old rant. I'm sure somebody will find a prompt for me in here to do something. The LK99 news has me on the edge of my seat. Yeah. So far, 5 papers have confirmed the manufacturer of this. I looked at it deeper, and I think I might be able to do it in small quantities. I need to get glass tubes I can seal with a torch. I have a furnace that I can dial into about 1,000 degrees, which is around where it needs to be cooked. And I think I can bake it. I think it has to bake for, is it 4 days? I can do that. So I'm gonna order some glass tubes this weekend, and I'm gonna see if I can get lead apatite and copper phosphate and all that stuff, and see if I can make some in my garage. That'd be kind of fun. So getting a little late to the party, a week late to the party, but I do think I might be able to make some. I don't know how much. I mean, some of the stuff isn't very pure, and they separate it with a magnet, and you get like these little grains about yay. But it'd be kind of cool to make a room temperature superconductor and play with some magnets. Wouldn't that be cool, Monkey? Yeah, you want some lead poisoning in the garage? Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds great. Lead poisoning in the garage sounds awesome. Okay. Cheshire. Houston. Overstock is now BBY. What happens to BBYQ ticker if NRU ticker? And are you still holding and buying more? Cost average, if you want to share, you most awesome as Monkey Butt Chili Batman. My cost average is 26, 27 cents, somewhere in there as of the moment. I got my 15,000 or so shares. Well, BBYQ and BBY are going to be separate at some point. My guess is there'll probably be a name change when it emerges from bankruptcy. It'll probably be called something completely different. And but yeah, Overstock is now excuse me, Bed Bath & Beyond. And that is what they're going to be called now, because they recognize a good brand name when they see it, and they bought it for cheap. Leo B. Houston. Fidelity says my MMTLP is not eligible for electronic transfer, and I must request physical certificates in order to DRS. Is there any legalese I can quote to shiver the timbers on DRSing? I mean, they'll still DRS, but it is paper shares they have to send. They cannot send electronic shares because NextBridge is not a member of FAST. It's only paper shares. So they have they're gonna have to send your paper shares. That's what has to happen, because there are no electronic shares. Ludicrous Speed, Houston. What's going on with the whales attacking boats in the Atlantic? Maybe they're pissed off that the water is too hot. I think it's exactly it. The boats hit the whales and cut their backs and take their fish and, warm the oceans. And the whales are probably just pissed off. I would be too. Be like, screw this. Mutiny. And more power to them. I mean, yeah. More power to them. B2B brand. Also, last check, the world supplies of some LK99 ingredients was tapped out. Pricing is through the roof as of 5 days ago. I can imagine. It's just a wild and crazy time. Oh crap! Did I miss a super chat? I did. I missed super chat. Sorry, Julio. NextBridge just released frequent asked questions. Really? Let's get this over here. NextBridge hydrocarbons FAQ. NextBridge hydrocarbon provides answers. Okay, seen. We got to go to Google Chrome. We got to tell Google Chrome to go there. There we go. All right. NextBridge Hydrocarbons provides answers to frequently asked questions from a subscription rights offering announced July 26, 2023. Question 1. How do I participate in the non-transferable subscription rights offering for shares of common stock in the future subsidiary of NextBridge Hydrocarbons? Answer. NextBridge filed a registration statement on Form S1, file number blah, 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 the registration statement, with the Securities Exchange Commission as of July 26, 2023, in order to register for issuance the right to subscribe for shares of common stock of a subsidiary of NextBridge to be formed in the future to the eligible shareholders of NextBridge. In order to be eligible to receive subscription right, you must hold shares of common stock of NextBridge as a registered stockholder on the books of record of the transfer agent of NextBridge Hydrocarbons, American Stock Transfer and Trust Company, LLC, by 5 p.m. Central Time on the record date defined below. Each shareholder must maintain direct registration with AST for a period of 100 days after the date of record. Following the expiration of such period, the company will distribute subscription rights to eligible shareholders on a one-for-one basis for each share that is held by such shareholder and directly registered with AST. Question 2. What does it mean directly register my NextBridge shares with a transfer agent? AST will register your ownership of shares of NextBridge stock in book entry form. Book entry means AST maintains your shares on your behalf without the need for physical share certificates. Shares held in book entry form without certificates have the same rights and privileges as shares held in certificate form. When is my deadline to become an eligible shareholder in order to receive the subscription right? Once the registration statement is declared effective by SEC, you will have only 60 days from the effective date to complete direct registration with AST. When the registration statement becomes effective, NextBridge will issue a press release notifying shareholders of the date of record. AST will provide to NextBridge a shareholder list as of the date of record, reflecting each shareholder who has completed procedures to NextBridge. Procedures to directly register all shares beneficially held by such shareholders. In order to be eligible, a holder of NextBridge common stock to receive the subscription rights to acquire shares of NewCo common stock, you can be a bank, a broker, or other nominee that is determined by the company in its sole direct discretion to be holding shares of other entities or individuals, or 2, a beneficial owner of NextBridge common stock that is being held by a bank, broker, or other nominee. What costs may be associated with becoming an eligible shareholder? You may be required to pay certain transfer fee or expenses in connection with transfers to become the registered holder of your shares of NextBridge common stock on the books and records of NextBridge transfer agent. For all instructions by any beneficial owner to transfer the shares of NextBridge common stock then held in street name through a broker, bank, or other nominee, such bank, broker, or nominee may impose a transfer or other transaction fee to be borne by the beneficial owner in accordance with such bank's, brokers, nominee, ordinary practices and policies. Further, AST may also impose certain ownership transfer fees on the brokers instructed to transfer shares of NextBridge common stock to beneficial owners on the books of transfer agent based on fees published by and pursuant to certain contractual arrangements of AST with to which such brokers are subject. You should contact your brokerage firm to determine its fees if you transfer your shares out of the brokerage account. None of the foregoing fees or charges will be borne or charged by NextBridge. So NextBridge is not charging. Question 5. What is the process to transfer my shares of NextBridge common stock to be held directly by new AST account in book of entry form? Transfer uncertified NextBridge shares to shareholders. If you hold your shares in a street name, your shares may be issued in book entry form in an account in the name of your broker, bank, or nominee. If so, in order to directly register such shares and transfer the shares electronically from your broker's account to an AST account in your name, please instruct your broker to submit a letter of instruction to AST indicating the number of shares to be transferred along with stock power containing a medallion signature guarantee. Medallion guarantee is a special signature guarantee for the transfer of securities. It is a representation by the guarantor of the signature is genuine and the signer is an appropriate person with the legal capacity to sign. Your broker must also provide a certificate incumbency or equivalent documentation indicating the signer of the stock power is an authorized persons for the bank. Upon receipt, AST will then credit such NextBridge shares to a new account in the beneficial owner's name. The shares will be issued and held electronically in book form in the shareholder's account. Okay. Once the shareholders are credited, the shareholder's AST account will send a statement by postal mail confirming the shares have been moved. Transfer physical certificate NextBridge shares to AST. If your holders and street name of your shares may be presented by physical certificate. If so, in order to directly register such shares in your name, the broker will need to mail. Keep clicking on this wrong. Need to mail AST certificate and a stock power containing medallion signature guarantee with instruction letter indicating the number of shares to be transferred to you as a registered shareholder. Upon receipt, AST will then transfer the shares to an account in your name as a registered owner in book entry form. This is basically all just saying register your shares. All right. Can I get a physical stock certificate for my book entry shares from AST? We recommend that you maintain your shares in book entry form to minimize the risk of such certificate being lost, stolen, or destroyed. However, you may request a share certificate for all a portion of your book entry shares at any time. To request a certificate, you should contact AST. Certificate for your full shares will be mailed to you. Question 7. Will any of the subscription rights, NextBridge shares, or shares of common stock of NewCo issued upon exercise of the subscription rights be listed for quotation on the OTC market in connection with the rights offering? None of NextBridge shares there we go. None of the NextBridge common stock, subscription rights, or NewCo common stock is or will be traded on any securities exchange nor be eligible for electronic trading through DTC or any other established clearing corporation. There is no established public trading market for the shares of NextBridge common stock, subscription rights being issued this offering, or the shares of NewCo common stock. NextBridge does not expect a market to develop for any of these securities. They will not be traded. They will not be traded. The entire point is that they won't be traded so that anyone who has fake shares, the brokers are between a rock and a hard place and have to figure out how to get you your NewCo shares. Question 8. Can I directly register my NextBridge common stock if held in retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, etc.? If your shares are currently held in the name of custodian retirement account and is expressly for your benefit as beneficiary in AST's books and records, such shares may be eligible to receive the subscription right if all other conditions of eligibility are met. Determine whether your shares are held in a retirement account that meets the foregoing eligibility description. Please contact your custodian. If your shares are held in a consolidated brokerage account with no other retirement account holders, you may be required to remove the NextBridge shares from the retirement account, be transferred to you individually, and directly registered in your name AST. Anyone contemplating such a transfer should speak with their custodian and tax advisor regarding the consequences of such an election. Basically saying, you might get a tax ding if you transfer out So you may have to transfer from your retirement account to a regular account, and from a regular account to AST. But they said that some people, the retirement accounts might be registered already. Question 9. Is the registration statement related to NextBridge's previously filed registration statement on Form S1 filed with SEC? The registration statement and then proposed subscription rights offering described in the registration statement. Blah, 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 blah. And apart from NextBridge direct offering, the registration statement filed that thing, registered. This question is, I don't know what that question's about. How many NextBridge common stock are authorized and outstanding? NextBridge has 500 million authorized shares of common stock as of July 23rd and had 248,830,516 shares of stock issued and outstanding. No assumption should be made about the possible number of shares of NewCo that may ultimately be outstanding upon future exercise subscription rights. Okay, there you go. 500 million shares authorized, 248 million-ish have been issued. Word. I don't know why I'm so yawny today. I'm a yawny boy. I am a yawny boy. Okay, the other super chat. Stonk Cobain. Hello, Houston. I've been wearing Hawaiian shirts for metal concerts. I am finally getting attention that I've always deserved. Thanks to you. See, it works, baby. The only guy at a metal show in a Hawaiian shirt, people are like, what's that guy doing here? He's hardcore. I had an old dating profile that was like, what's the first thing noticed about you? And I think I wrote, I'm the only guy at the metal show in a Hawaiian shirt. Okay. Oh, crap. There's the reset. And I got to scroll all the way up now. All the way up. Okay. Past Cheshire. Past that one. Past Ludicrous Speed. Past that one. Okay. B2B brand, I just noticed American Superconductor is one of the top traded companies on the market by volume for a few days. Yeah, which is why I need to make a company called Superconductor AI and then just start selling shares. Case Chapman, GNS was up 70% this morning before being shorted and ending the day up only 2%. That's a huge doink. Yanni, Houston. Can you go into detail on LK99 operating temperatures, etc.? Does room temp in this context really mean room temperature? Yes. The element itself is fairly stable through high temperatures, but it does have resistance at higher temperatures. So literally at room temperature has almost no resistance whatsoever. And that is one of the really, really weird things about it. I'm sure that... So you have the substance called lead apatite, and you take that substance and you replace the lead molecules with copper molecules. Lead atoms with copper atoms, and that supposedly frees up the electrons to just flow, baby, like a superconductor. And I'm curious now if we find out the principles of why this works, if we can't find other substances and do similar things with them. We'll find a whole category of replacement minerals we can replace certain elements with and get superconductivity out of them. Be pretty cool, right? Right, Floor Dog? She's a floor dog. So that's what we're looking at. The chemistry of how it works, I have no clue. Not one. It's weird. Gives the Meissner effect. That's shrugging. Yanni, or is it hyperbole to say actually the numbers are slightly less than in early experiments? Well, they have such a small sample that they're able to make and test with that so far only small currents have gone through it, tiny little amperages. So it leaves a lot of questions to be answered, such as, like, can you make larger material out of this? Can you make long wires out of it? Can you have junction points? Or will junction points cause lots of resistance? Does it work on large scale? over long distances with high voltages? We're gonna find out. So I'm sure there are so many labs right now working on this stuff that we're gonna have probably in the next month. We'll have people making wires of it and wrapping them around motors and seeing what happens. Can you imagine, like, if we have superconductor wires as the wrapping of electric motors? How efficient electric motors are going to become? We don't use copper anymore that gets super warm. We'll be able to make MRI machines like teeny tiny because they won't have these super cooled superconductors of helium containing magnetic fields. You want to make these like giant rooms of iron that are really expensive. It's going to be pretty wild. I'm still like trying to see if there are things that don't yet exist that will be invented because of having a room temperature superconductor. There's stuff I haven't conceived of that will be coming out as a result of this, and we'll go, wow, what a cool invention. Patchy football films. Does October 4th look like the start of a huge bottom on the stock market? I don't know. If there is a housing bottom, it usually comes in the fall. And that's when you get the Great Depression. That's when you got the global financial crisis, the Great Recession. That comes in the fall. That's when home buying slows down, construction slows down. You get all sorts of like quarterly reports that are like, so yeah, that's when it would happen, usually. Yanni, by the way, in an earlier show, I mentioned I'm making almost 4,000 a month stacking shelves, night shift, all sorts of holiday and weekends increments, and 4,000 euros, sorry. And a couple of extra shifts a month gets me there. Boom. If you're a night person, it's probably a good job to have. I do all my grocery shopping at night, so like the people I experience at the grocery store are the nighttime workers, and like they're stocking shelves and stuff. And then I go to the check stand. I got to like squeeze this little squeaky toy for someone to come and like actually check me out because they're too busy stocking shelves. But yeah, first name, last name, Houston. Can't watch, but wishing you a good show. Eat a hot pocket for every extra intro. Just saying, you've been slacking lately. He called it right there. And Houston, where is somewhere you would never visit? Just curious. I would never visit. I would be like, ew, gross. I am never going there. I don't know if there's anywhere particular I would visit. This place is like, for the time being, I wouldn't go. Like, I wouldn't go to Russia right now as an American. That would be a silly thing to do. Like, wouldn't visit ever. I'm very curious. I want to kind of see everything in the world has to offer. Right, monkey butt? You want to go too? Yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. But like, I wouldn't visit ever under any conditions. I don't think I can think off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some like toxic waste fields that I would probably avoid. You know, like I wouldn't visit the core of the Fukushima nuclear plant. That doesn't seem like it would be a good idea to go do that. And like, probably not the safest thing to be like in ISIS controlled areas in like Syria or something. I did have some guys that were a couple classes behind me in high school. And when 9/11 happened, their dad was like, I'm spending money, you boys are going traveling. And he booked them flights and hotels and stuff, going from like Syria all the way through the Middle East, up and through all the stands, through the Caucasus, through the stands, got it to like Kyrgyzstan, and spent like 5 months traveling. And it was amazing because all these places that Americans normally wouldn't be able to visit, but there was so much goodwill towards Americans after the terrorist attack that wherever they went, they were like welcomed. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And that's the type of trip that a lot of people can't take today. You can't go through a lot of these tribal areas in a lot of those places because you might not return. I'd love to have had the ability to do a trip like that. Okay. So yeah. Scott Pollen. Ciao, Houston. Checking in from Ibiza. Well, Scott Pollen, enjoy yourself. Yanni, Liberia is lovely this time of the year. I have friends from Liberia. They're heading out. Well, one of them, their dad passed away. So they're heading out to Liberia on next Wednesday for 10 days to go do a memorial for him. They love Liberia. I mean, their mom, who he's going with, was best friends with the previous president of Liberia. So when they go to Liberia, they live it up. First name, last name, Houston. I'm also requesting more server stories, good or bad. Thanks. Oh, I had to get prompted for server stories. They'll just pop in my head immediately. I'd say that I am someone who enjoys kicking someone out of a restaurant. But what I like to do is like to reiterate that the other people in the party are welcome to come back anytime. You guys were lovely, but I never want to see you again. And that just destroys friend groups. It's fantastic. The other people will keep coming to the restaurant and their friend just won't be there anymore. And all of a sudden, well, guess they're not friends anymore. There was a couple away at this party. I was working at a bar and there was a big patio and I was working the outside section of the patio. And I had in this bar, you'd have like 9 to 13 tables. It was not a small section. And a party of 12 came in. It was 6 couples. All the couples seated across from each other at this big long table. And this one couple was just mean as hell and super demanding. And demanding in that way where like, oh, excuse me, could I get some extra tartar sauce? You go get some extra tartar sauce. Like, oh, could I get a pickle? You go get a pickle. Like, oh, can I get some chipotle mayo now? You go to chipotle mayo. They'd ask, like, they wouldn't just ask for everything at once. They'd ask one at a time. And you'd be like, can I get you anything else? I'm like, no, I'm good. So, okay, run off, get the thing, drop it off. And they're like, oh, actually, could I get this thing? And then they were complaining. And how it started was I generally don't use trays because trays, I'm a klutz and trays will fall all over the place. But I can hold 6 pint glasses in my hands. Got big mitts, 6 pint glasses. I can hold 6 pint glasses, drop them off. Party of 12, right? I bring the first 6 pint glasses and I set them down. And the couple is like, where's our water? And I was like, oh, no. It's coming. I can't carry 12 glasses of water. I can carry 6. I'll be right back with your water. And I'm like, hurry up. Like, okay, this is going to go downhill. Anyways, this couple sucked so hard and they were so demanding and they were so mean the entire time. Like, there's no please or thank yous. It was all like, where's this? Where's that? And it wasn't something that they had ordered or whatever. And I ended up spending so much time getting crap for this couple and getting crap from this couple that my other tables got ignored. Like I was running to the kitchen and back and forth for this couple so many times. The other tables were like, where have you been? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just dealing with this fucking awful people. And when it came time to pay, 6 separate checks. So I tipped up 6 checks, and that couple that made me jump through hoops didn't tip. Everyone else tipped fine. Like, thank you so much. Oh, it's wonderful. This couple did not tip. They're like, service was terrible. And so when they were leaving, I followed them out and was like, hey, everybody, just want to let you know, you 10 folks were fantastic. I'd love to have you back. Come back anytime. You two, I never want to see you again. You were so mean to me. You were so demanding, unnecessarily rude, and you didn't even tip. So, you know what? We don't need your business. Fuck off. And the other 5 couples were like, you didn't tip him after what you did to him the entire time? How dare you? And that couple was like beet red all of a sudden. And that was juicy. I loved it. I love doing stuff like that. Like, tip your servers. Be nice. I have literally never been to a restaurant where the service was so bad that I was angry and I didn't tip. And I'm someone who eats out like 5 days a week. So I don't know what it is about people who have bad restaurant experiences, but they seem to always have bad restaurant experiences, which comes down to that there's an old joke, or maybe it's a colloquialism or a moral story. I'm not sure. It's after church, little town, and the preacher or the minister or the reverend or whatever, he's out front. He's like greeting everybody as they're leaving. He's like, "Oh, thank you so much for coming. It was great to see you." Whatever. People are like, "Oh, thank you, Reverend," and they're moving on the way. And this couple comes along and they're like, "Thank you so much, Reverend. It was a wonderful, wonderful sermon. We just moved here. We just came from a town we loved so much. We had to move for work. Everyone was so kind and so loving and so giving. And we just hope that this community is the same way." And the Reverend's like, "It is. It is exactly as you described." Like, "Oh, excellent." They move along and break some more people. "Thank you, Reverend," whatever. Because the next couple. And like, "Hey, Reverend, we're new to town. We just moved from this town. Everyone was just backstabbing and mean and rude and awful. And we're just hoping to escape that and find something better in this town." And the Reverend's like, "I'm so sorry, but this town is full of backstabbers and just awful people. You're just not going to find what you're looking for here." And the couple's like, "Oh," and they will go away. And moral of the story is, where you live is what you make it, man. Like, if you live to have bad restaurant experiences, you will have nothing but bad restaurant experiences because you're a sucky human being. People don't like you and you cause problems. So don't be a sucky person who sucks. I guess that's the rule. Bill Coyne, Wall Street Journal article yesterday on person claiming room temperature superconductor, a history of fraud. Basically, they say they are full of bull feathers. There was a claim of superconductivity back in January. The paper got retracted. The difference is that so far we have 5 reputable labs and scientists, teams of scientists that have recreated it. So this is why everyone's like vibrating with excitement. I told my brother that his company, I can't mention, should definitely get on the superconductor train because I'm sure they'd find lots of applications with their tech. Yeah, so we will see probably a lot more papers come out, and then more practical uses. Because right now they're just trying to see if they can replicate the material and get the Meissner effect, which means put a magnet, put the material above it, and it floats. And that would be incredible. We wouldn't need rare earth elements anymore, like neodymium. We could use lead, that's freaking everywhere, and copper, which is also everywhere. And shit's gonna get wild. That's what's gonna happen there, Bill. Julio, hey. H, looks like Apple will make tomorrow interesting. How's prison food? You know, the meals aren't large over at BlueSky, but you know what? They're filling. That's how it works. I wonder. My guess is Apple probably did a bunch more stock buybacks, and their profit to earnings is going to look the same. And yeah. Ideas Matter 7707. Hey, Houston. If you remember the question about Sorrento Therapeutics, I bought calls and they blew up for me, loving it. I think shorts have until Tuesday to cover, but waiting to see where it goes. Oh, there were calls available for Sorrento? I thought they were in bankruptcy. Interesting. I know that they were offering a subsidiary in their company just shorts to buy. So like, hey, we're offering this to customers, but you, short sellers, you can buy it and raise us a bunch of money, basically, in the process. So it's a very interesting thing. Kelly Reed, 3 months Treasury yield has been higher than the 10-year Treasury yield since October 2022. Inverted yield curve predicts recession. What's up with all this bullish talk? Yes. And Fitch downgraded U.S. bonds, which means bond rates are going to have to go up regardless of what the Fed says. Because you're going to have to be able to entice bondholders with your downgrade, which means interest rates are going to have to go up. So regardless of whether or not the Fed's like, we're going to raise interest rates or whatever, bond rates are going to go up. I mean, when those things invert and you cross, you get a recession. And this has been a long time for an inversion and not to technically have a recession. Yeah. To get retail hold in the bag. Definitely. Kelly Reed. U.S. credit rating downgrades from AAA to buckle up. I like that. Brandon T. Hi, Houston. Yesterday was to be a busy court day for BBYQ. I Googled BBYQ. All I get is story after story about Ryan Cohen being able to be sued for a smiley emoji during stock price drop last year. And most of those claims have been like thrown out by the court. I think the whole case can get thrown out eventually. Hansenbell, good evening from Germany. Coordinates. Ooh, Hansenbell coordinates up north, somewhere in Europe. Come on. Cool power station. Okay. Use the Google. Whoops. Wrong screen. Google. Over there. Over there. Bam. Gotta go Google. Oops. Gotta turn off the adobes. There we go. Okay. Shabam, shabam, shabam. Oops. I delete the part that says cool power station. That's my problem. Come on, let's go to Europe. We're flying. Flying across the globe. We're smacking into Europe right there. Into Iceland. Cool power station. It's a geothermal station? Looks like. A little guy. There's a little guy right there. Got Blue Lake. We got Mutwan geothermal area. Green Solutions. Can we get down there in person? We can. Bam. Up here on the side of a volcano. Got all sorts of little geyser events there. Got some people, some geysers. Well, to the power station. This must be before we put the power station in. There's definitely a building there. Like there's a building right there. Okay, are there other spots we can go? Bam. We can go along the blue water here. I bet that water's like 100 degrees. So that must be that station that we can't see. Got cinder cones. Huh. Well, like if you go to the Blue Lagoon, Blue Lagoon isn't a natural hot spring. It is runoff like this from a geothermal plant. So if we go Blue Lagoon, Iceland, over the other side of the country, close to Reykjavik. So this whole water area, this is the pond that you go play in, and it's like all 3 feet deep. And this is also runoff from the geothermal plant. The geothermal plant is over here and over here. This is all geothermal, and this is all runoff from that plant. So they basically turned what is not a natural thing into a cool hot lagoon. And it's neat because it's all opal. All the white stuff you see here, see all this white stuff? This is all opal because the waters are really silica rich. And there's why you don't want to dunk your head in the Blue Lagoon, because your hair will literally petrify and it'll just start snapping off. So if you go to the Blue Lagoon and you're a lady with big, beautiful hair, do not dunk your head. Wear a shower cap even. It does cost a fortune. When I went 13 years ago, it was like $50. Now here it's like $150 a day. But there's a couple of bars. And when I was here, Liv Tyler was there. So I got to like be in the Blue Lagoon with Liv Tyler. And do you see all these little dots? These dozens and dozens and dozens of little dots? These are all people. And every single solitary one of these people in the Blue Lagoon, they're all squatting. Because the water is like this deep. So everybody is squatting with their heads above the water. And while I was there, all I could think about was, Imagining just if the water just vanished all of a sudden, I would just see like 300 people squatting all at the same time, which would have been really funny. So, yeah. And there's like a little waterfall feature over here, and there's like come and you get like massages and, you know, do rich people things. Well, those look like they've expanded a bit since I was there last. I don't think some of this stuff was there. Like all this stuff is just as hot, and all this stuff is just as hot, and pretty much I think. Here's the thing. I'm fairly certain now that you could park your car like right there and just go swimming in this water and be fine and not to pay a dime because you just park in the parking lot and hang out in that stream, and you won't have access to the massages, you won't have access to the spa or the bar, but you'd have hot water. And just bring your own road sodas and you're good to go. Right? Yeah. There's also like a little hotel here and everything. It's cool. It's a cool spot. Very pretty. Very blue. Very, very blue. Took lots of cool pictures there. And sorry, more people messaging me here. Okay. Yeah, is Ernest downloading video games? Let me just doing show for 1 more hour. Okay, just in case I think I might turn into Max Headroom here. All right, Aaron Salentine, Houston. So, on the next episode of Houston We Have a Problem, will Finger Motion Moas be next week? When will Genie ever squeeze? AMC is crap, and BYQ will reboots with reboots with overstock. Oh, renews with overstock. What will happen next? What will happen next? Well, Finger's next option date is August 18th. That's what I have my options for. So I might do a rollover this week into options for later. They're up a lot. I mean, they're spent $300 and they're like 1,000 right now. So cool. Be curious to see what happens because it's kind of hanging out there. But there's only a couple weeks left, so I'm going to start getting Theta Decay, so I might as well roll them over into something that's a little bit further out and see where it goes from there. I'm all for some finger blasting. Pew! Blast away. BW Brand. Will they do everything they can to ignore the fact that they can't print and are tapping the treasury right now? You only hear the good news. What do you say, monkey? Get up there. Come on. Get up there. They will do everything they can to ignore the fact they can't print. Yeah. There's some weird, like, extra reverse repo things going on. So there's this banking... What was the name of that thing? It's like the Bank Funding Management Act or something. It was supposed to be a temporary thing, but it was like paying obscene interest rates for assets held by banks that if they sold the assets wouldn't be worth anything, would cause the banks to collapse. And Concoda Nomics was writing about it, basically saying like this program's never going to end. So it was supposed to end in March. It's not ending, and it will never end. Scott Paul in Houston. Can you talk about the islands in Spawn, Ibiza, Fort Myra, and Mallorca? Sure. They're all limestone. So let's go to Europe. Let's go down the Mediterranean where it's hot as balls. And these guys. So, come on. We got Ibiza. This is where you are. The little guy. And then it's got a second little island here off the end. This is all limestone. It's all of it is uplifted limestone, limestone rocks, limestone everywhere. Everything's made of limestone. Limestone quarry. Here's where they carve out a bunch of limestone, get alabaster and crap to probably build houses and make roads and whatnot. But you can have a mansion next to it. You got this mansion right next to this big old quarry. You got some, looks like little vineyards and some more Ibiza mansions with beautiful views of the quarry. Yeah, I mean, Mallorca, hopefully we'll be going to Mallorca next spring with Marius and film some stuff. There's some really cool limestone caves because limestone gets eaten away by acid pretty easily. So you get carbonic acid, any type of acid gets in there. It starts to bore holes in underground rivers. And there's really cool caves in Mallorca. There's also probably one of the coolest roads in the entire world. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you, cool road? Bodega, please. Crap, I have to search for it. I can't remember the name. Un momento, por favor. Ah, Sacalabra Road. That's right. The Snake Road. That's the one we want. Come on, go. Sacalabra Road. It's really cool looking. If we give a quick little view here. Here's the road. It passes under itself. It's like really, really cool windy road built through the hillsides. And let's Google Earth. Google Earth. Control V. Oh, it's too far south. Here we go. So Sacalabra Road. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at this windy freak of nature. So, gets from this little town here. It is wind. How do you wind? All the way up. Windy. Holy shit! Wind. Whoa. And then out. And at one end of it, there's also like a canyon wall that fits one bus. Let's see if I can have a picture of that. Images. Sacalabra. Control V. Bam. Images. Here we go. Yeah. So, turn off Google Earth. Look at this guy. Fits one bus. That's awesome. Here's some cool like shots of the road. So if we go in next spring to go film, I want to do a piece like we rent the Lamborghini for a day or something and drive this road back and forth a bunch of times. It'd be pretty rad. But there's some cool pictures of like a bus driving through this thing. Where are you? You gotta have some. I know I've seen them. There we go. There. I like to be the bus driver who has to do that, not lose a mirror. Anyway, Lamborghini. Gotta get or Ferrari or something. There's another one. Bus going through. They call it tunnel, but really it's like a canyon wall. But anyway, islands in, oops, I want to go back to Google Earth. So these guys, they're all limestone. They, not too much in the way of minerals. Lots of caves, lots of jaggedy mountains. But yeah, they're all built out of the same ancient reef, basically. They got uplifted. And you can see like, there's a shelf here, which shows that it's not that deep right off the shore, and probably when sea level's down, they are much larger. It's hot, a lot of sun, get kind of an African Mediterranean climate. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about it. It's limestone, hot, cool roads. There. This is the in-depth Houston story on Mallorca and Ibiza. Lots of tourists, a lot of famous tennis players, a lot of techno bands. Scott Pollen, BW Rand, Sun, Sea, Food, Wine, what more can anyone need? Truth. Yanni, I get the credit rating drop, but how much should we pay attention to these rating agencies after what they did in 2008? Well, when the credit rating got dropped for the U.S. government in 2011, leading up to the debt crisis we had, everybody at that credit firm got investigated by the government, and some of them got huge fines, and I think maybe some of them went to prison. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to Fitch here, because Fitch is citing two things. One, the fact that we have to constantly go into a battle to raise our debt ceiling, and the fact that we have a debt ceiling period pisses them off. And two, they were citing political instability, specifically January 6th insurrection. So you can blame, essentially, they say it, but Republicans for both of those. The insurrection was Republicans, and holding the debt ceiling hostage was also Republicans. So those two specific actions are what led to the credit rating being cut. Now, a credit rating, something other than AAA, means there are haircuts on holding that. And because 2 of 3 credit agencies currently hold U.S. credit at AA plus and not AAA, means, through ISDA rules, through other rules from SEC and Federal Trade Commission and FDIC, etc., means that some U.S. Treasuries might get a haircut as to whether they can be held as collateral for margin plays. And U.S. government Treasury bonds are the biggest foundational investment for those making plays with margin. So, are we going to see margin calls as a result of that? Because now, are they just going to go with, what's the other one, the last one that rates us monkey butt? There's 3 agencies: Fitch, Moody's, Standard & Poor's? They do one? Crap, I can't remember. So I don't know, maybe everyone will go with the one that still rates us a AAA. Citizen 54. Ron DeSantis agrees to debate Gavin Newsom on Fox News. California governor has been trying to get his Florida Republican counterpart to engage. This will be great to watch if it happens. Thoughts? I think Ron DeSantis will be shown to be a complete weirdo. Says before, Mike Pence seems to be a key witness to the January 6th trial. Do you think he has the balls to nail Trump and co-conspirators? Or will he take some of the pious route out as an excuse? I don't think Mike Pence has the stones to do anything right. I mean, well, that's not true. He did go to the Senate, confirm the vote tally, and did that while people were trying to kill him. But as far as saying words out of his mouth that are going to be tough guy talk, I don't think he has that in him. What's so funny is that everyone in the Republican primary knows that Trump is the heavyweight, right? But they want to piss off his voters because they need his voters to vote for them. But they're not going to vote for them because they're voting for Trump. But if Trump goes to jail, then they need someone to vote for. So they'll vote for the guy who is least mean to Trump if Trump goes to jail. It's a very weird catch-22 these dudes find themselves in. And I'm not entirely sure how to rectify that situation. I think what you need to do is you need to become the biggest jerk possible and do nothing but make fun of Trump and belittle him, because a lot of the folks that follow Trump follow him because he's so much better at bullying than the others. And they go, obviously, he's the good bully, so I'm going to vote for him. And if you find somebody comes along that's a more creative bully and is better at belittling Trump and making him seem small and stupid and weak, then they go, well, that guy is really good at bullying Trump. So obviously, I have to go vote for Trump now. I think that's the only hope that anybody in the Republican field has for 2024 is to belittle Trump as much as possible, go all in on just mocking him for his tiny hands and his big butt and his stupid hair and his crimes and everything else, and just go all in. Become the bully. Become the biggest bully you possibly can. And that's the only way you're going to be able to pull those people from Trump. Now, it could backfire you entirely, but it's going to work better than like pretending like the man isn't being indicted 8 million times in 4 different jurisdictions and hoping that maybe he'll go away. And because you weren't mean to him, his voters will go, you know what? He seems like a decent guy. I'm going to vote for him now. That's just not going to happen. Scott Paul, lots of free hiking and beaches here. A large hippie community if you are comfortable with that lifestyle. I mean, what I know about Ibiza social circles is that everyone from Europe goes to Ibiza, does a boatload of drugs, goes to clubs all night long, sleeps all day on the beach, and then disappears again. Hey, you know, go to Ibiza, meet some supermodels, get a bunch of soap in your eye at some club, and then head home. Sounds like a plan. Mudkip, hey Houston. Miss you on Twitter, X. What do you think is up with the Goldman Sachs guy that was found in a creek? Yeah, that was interesting. He went missing for 2 days. They found him in a creek. He looks like he's about 14 years old. They say he's 28, but my gosh, he looks like a child. Now, there's people saying it was the dude who said that AMC should be $175 a share or whatever. That's all conspiracy theory stuff. I have no idea. What I do know is that investment banker dudes love to party, and they got the money to do so. So I'm sure we'll get more info on it. Scott Paul, significant FUD campaign against GameStop the last few days. Guessing the Q1 numbers are better than expected, and this is an attempted shakeout by mainstream media. Q1 or Q2? Q2. I haven't released the Q2 stats yet. That's the one they're waiting for. I think there was Q1 already. Yeah, because Q4 was awesome. Q1 was not as good as they wanted it to be. Q2 will be one to look at. And their date is what, the 8th? Is that one? Yeah. Sean Waters, GNS share count incoming. Excellent. PW Brand thanks everyone for being civil and asking interesting questions. Yes, thank you, everybody. You guys ask great questions, and half the time I'm like, I don't answer that. Beats by the Wood, Houston. When is Jimmy gonna go burr? I don't know, man. They do have to do something interesting, I think, to be able to really make people go, whoa. And the interesting thing may be announcing a dividend. It may be, becoming a conglomerate. It may be releasing a crypto share. I don't know. But I think they're going to have to do something interesting to be that, like, straw that broke the camel's back and push them over the edge. And John Croissant is in sunny Southern California. Citizen 54, some examples of past breakthrough superconductivity materials that were fool's gold, multi-walled carbon nanotubes, doped graphite, silver nanoparticles, and a gold matrix. How's LK99 different? In that I think LK99 works. That's the difference. There was one of the papers that came out that suggested that instead of using copper, you can use gold in the matrix, which will not make it cheaper, but might make it more durable across temperature ranges. Yeah, I think the big difference is that this one works and has been recreated. Guess what? I just reached the beginning of the show in the chat. Andrew Stewart, Houston, going to see Ween at Red Rocks. Catch you later, buddy. That's a good show. Ween's a good band. Yeah. Ryan Presley, yellow short squeeze happening as they announce bankruptcy is looming. Puts are super cheap right now. Puts on yellow. Although if they get that lending from whatever and they make it through, then the puts would spike even more and would want to wait to buy puts till later. What's it trading at the moment? Currently trading at 360. So any puts you get will drop considerably, but it was at 62 cents. It's climbed up to 360, hit 434 earlier. Interesting. A year ago it was $7, $8, $13 2 years ago. Man. Ryan Priestley, interesting notion. Hey, Marius is here. Only BLSP Black Death. Hey, so what's up? I got kicked off Twitter, so you got to email me if you want to get into contact with me. Mudkip, can you explain the situation with bonds and treasuries and why countries are buying them up? Isn't that like buying your own debt at a higher rate and then it's going to crash? Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to keep their bonds alive, keep the price from crashing and interest rates low. Because if they can't get buyers, they have to raise interest rates. If they have to raise interest rates, then they're paying a boatload in interest. Like right now, U.S. deficit went up like $1.8 billion because we're paying so much interest rate right now. If we had the interest rates of 2 years ago, our deficit right now would be like $400 billion. So over $1 billion of our deficit is interest on our bonds. So if you print money like the Bank of Japan and you buy your own bonds with that money, then you're keeping demand up and you keep your rates low. So they eventually, I mean, when you buy your own bonds, you can just cancel the debt to yourself if you want to. You're like, oh, I don't owe myself any money. It's like vandalizing your own home, right? Who's going to press charges? No one. You vandalized your own home. You'd be pressing charges yourself? I don't think so. So that's kind of where they are. But yeah, good point. Got Paul and Yellow so deep in the bust out. Snowball chance in hell. Legacy 10 Productions. Houston, happy birthday. We have MMTLP in different brokerages. Should we register all of it? AST, not financial advice, not financial advisor. I registered all of mine. So, I mean, it's all up to you, but I personally did. Avocado, so I guess you're talking about BlueSky. Are you on Threads? I have a Threads account. I haven't really used it yet. Zuckerberg likes to bust me for a lot of things. Take, for example, the Facebook Wall Street Bets group, which is the worst place in the entire universe. It is full of the dumbest, most unaware people in existence. They are knuckle-dragging morons who are distilled down into a paste that probably smells like farts, wet socks, and divorce papers. And these guys are just morons. So there was a post, it's like a joke meme like, oh, Elon's going to make the next sign out of like used needles. Oh, San Francisco. And then I pointed out that Elon Musk is a ketamine addict. And this guy was like, take your head out of your ass. You can't stop talking about Elon. And I was like, the post is about Elon, dummy. Facebook's robot algorithm flagged me calling that guy a dummy and said I was bullying him and I'm not allowed to participate in groups anymore. So that's the type of motherly love Zuckerberg has in all of his platforms, where you can have a guy telling me my head is up my ass. That's okay. But if I call him a dummy, then no. Like, I got a 30-day ban once for explaining to somebody what Manifest Destiny was. Like, someone's like, all Americans talk about Manifest Destiny. What is this? And I explained it in like 2 paragraphs, and that was considered hate speech, and I got a ban. One time, America did something stupid, and I said most Americans are mostly stupid. That was hate speech, and I got a 30-day ban. I ended up in Facebook prison more than any other place in the entire world. It's absolutely silly. On Wall Street Bets, a guy called me a homosexual slur, and I reported the comment. I was like, this is unnecessary. Facebook's like, I see no problem with what he said. Probably it's like, you are a fag, whatever. And I screenshotted it, and I posted it to my personal page, like, hey, Facebook says this isn't bad, that you can call me this whenever you want. Facebook put me in a 30-day timeout for posting the screenshot of what the guy said to me because I posted hate speech. Like, oh my gosh. So my guess is Threads is going to be a nightmare. And over on BlueSky, you got shit posters and nipples. So you really can't beat that. You won't get that. You won't get shit posters at all on Threads, because Threads is a nanny state, and they can't take a joke. Nor can you criticize Nazis on Threads either. So I'm over on BlueSky. I do have an account. I just don't know if I'll ever use it. P. Kumar, Hasten, what does it mean by credit event, which everyone is talking about? Please educate. I would assume that means where a whole bunch of folks go bankrupt. They can't. They default. They can't pay back their credit. If they can't pay back their credit, then bonds are worthless. And if bonds are worthless, then everyone's deposits at banks are worthless, because all of our deposits went into buying bonds, and everything just goes poof all at once. That's probably what they mean by credit event. BB Brand, Ryan Yellow may get a cash infusion from private equity. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Interesting. It'd be nice if the taxpayers got bailed out, that's for sure. Mr. Oak, Houston. So what exactly is going on, BBY? I saw a post claiming RC is still holding shares as some kind of court letter about shorts closing, or also shares being canceled. Most of the filings I've seen from the Bed Bath lawyers suggests that shares in Bed Bath will be exchanged for shares in the new company, and then those old shares will be canceled. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't think that the post that was showing Ryan Cohen still holds was a picture of Ryan Cohen selling his shares. So I don't know what they meant by that. It didn't make any sense to me. Also, the same guy who posted that seems like a lovely person, seems like a nice guy, but he also suggests that everybody email the judge and complain to him. Do not do that. Do not contact a judge in that way. File documents with the court. As a shareholder, you can file documents saying, hey, this thing. Do not contact the judge and go, meh. They will hate you. They may even find you in contempt and issue an arrest warrant for you. So don't do that. Do not. Don't contact judges. So there's a judge on the island, a municipal court judge. My stalker was also stalking this judge, right? And he was making weird videos about the judge, paying Facebook a cajillion dollars to advertise those videos to millions of strangers around the world, to encourage these strangers to threaten the judge. So there's always threats popping up in the comment section of these videos he's advertising people, and they're, you know, I'm going to rape her, I'm going to kill her, I'm going to do all these things. It was horrible. And then purposely, the stalker was not modding any of these comments, right? Like, oh, you know, he'd be like, I'm going to hunt down this judge, I'm going to kill her. And he just put like a frowny face, like, oh. So I contacted the court, not the judge herself, talking to the court and said, hey, court clerk, I want you to be aware, these videos are out there and a whole bunch of people are now threatening the judge on the island. They said, thank you for letting us know. We'll deal with it. And they contacted the police and they did all these things. But had I contacted the judge, like, hey, judge, this was happening, the judge would be like, don't you dare contact me about anything. You talk to my clerk. And that's what you do. You talk to the clerk, or you file, if it has to do with the court case specifically, you file with the court. And yeah, just don't contact the judge. Don't do that. Also, a document showing that Ryan Cohen sold a whole bunch of shares. I don't know how that means he's holding shares, but whatever. Didn't make any sense to me. Of course, I was only seeing screenshots because I'm not on Twitter anymore, so everything's a little bit fuzzier, a little bit harder to see. Gotta get like a magnifying glass out for those things. Cat trying to make an appearance? I can't tell. Stephen Williams, Houston, happy birthday. Could you please explain why GME's volume is recording more frequent record lows? Why is it hyped so much on the stock subreddit? Thank you. Well, because everybody knows what they have. Everyone knows the short's never closed. And, but right now I think, we aren't flush with cash like we were during COVID. We had extra mana from heaven coming from the government. We spent it all, and now prices are going through the roof, so we've got less liquid income and an expendable income, and so we aren't buying shares as much as we were before. So the volume's staying low just because there isn't as much buying happening by us. And so if there's much buying happening, the volume's dropping down because there's not much people to short to. Even though the short sales are still like 60% of that volume, there isn't much purchasing action going on. So everyone's just kind of waiting. They're just sitting with what the shares they have, and they're waiting. And they're taking little bits they have and doing some other plays, periphery plays, because, well, we're bored. And you got to do something while you're waiting. I think that's what's happening. Scott Paul, Mr. Oak, RC sold his position, is out. Nothing more to it. BBY team is doing a Chapter 7 liquidation and a Chapter 11 restructure. There'll be no squeeze. No, I don't agree with that, Scott. They are doing liquidation, but they're doing liquidation of certain stores. They're still maintaining leases on a whole bunch of others, and they're doing a restructuring. They're not doing a full liquidation of the company. There's going to be an entity that comes out of it. And how the entity is, what it does, what it means, not a clue. It could be an American tin can company. It could be a Berkshire Hathaway. Who knows how it gets restructured, what it means at the end. But there will be a company at the end. Grape juice for you. Yogi tells 12 to see the graphene patent I posted in your Reddit. Yes. I don't necessarily know what it means, but more graphene batteries, the better for humanity. And if we've got graphene batteries combined with superconductors, we'll have batteries that last forever. They're saying that a superconductor battery could hold a charge for like 100,000 years. What? Crazy. Scott Pollen. So you only did my big project on the volume of GME for my master's program, vetted by top economists. It's legit. So he's saying DRS stars a marketplace of liquidity via less shares available to borrow and short sell. Just body shout to the homies in Tupperware. Okay, 99 is probably alien tech. 54. All right. Just by this is a filing sent by someone from the BBY subreddit. Hey, they're shareholders. They're making a good point. Josh Repels, Tennessee. Anybody have clues about the Ryan Cohen tweet about key litter? I'm way behind. Well, I mean, my initial thought is key litter, Chewy, video games, GameStop. Meh. Someone else said it had to do with Amazon sending kitty litter instead of like a PlayStation to someone. I don't know. I'm terrible at ferreting out those double entendres. Scott Paul on BBYQ goes anywhere other than 0. I'll eat great food and party with friends as retribution. If it goes to 0, the same. Senate Sapien, Mr. Wade, my friend bought MMTLP for me via Ameritrade. I managed to also buy some on a different broker. Now it's today day and I want my MMTLP. My broker has initiated transfer ST. How can I do his? I don't, if it's in his name, I don't know how to get it into your name. I guess you guys can talk to his broker and see if you can transfer his shares into your account and then you do that. But I don't know how that would work. I get asked by folks to buy shares for them, and I don't do that. I don't want to deal with the tax implications. I don't want to deal with like weird straw man laws. Like there's folks that are in Europe, like, hey, Houston, you're in America, can you buy the stock for me? I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't buy stocks for people. I don't know how to deal with the taxes on it. I don't know. So I just say, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I don't know how to get those in your name. I mean, you can't deed stock to people. That happens all the time in like estates do that and trust funds and things like that. So you might be able to talk to the broker, like, hey, how do I deed these shares to my friend here? And I don't know if there's a fee for that, but I'd talk to the broker about that. Bill Coin's got his 4,700 GME shares. Way to go. Yeah. Waiting for that Black Swan event. Yes. I wish I had that many shares. Man, I can't wait until he reads the Bill of Rights. I mean, rights. What? B-Ball 3710, been MI for a month. Do I need to do anything with my MMTLP shares? I registered mine with AST. Do that if you like. The frequently asked questions seem to suggest like go register. This is how you register. Go register. Register. So yeah. Oh great. Now I'm so far behind that I'm now at the second intro part that happened at 2:49 and it is 4:10 p.m. right now. I got 20 minutes left and I got to somehow make it 2 hours through this. That being said, if I'm not getting your question, I only got 20 minutes. This is where I'm supposed to plug. My roommate's like, you're always supposed to plug super chats. If you want me to see your question before the end of the show, by all means, super chat away. Send them to me, and I can get to them for sure. I will not be able to get through the next hour and a half of questions in the next 20 minutes. I don't have the ability. You can also ask the questions tomorrow on tomorrow's show. There will be a show tomorrow, so you can ask then. But I'm not going to be able to get to them all. Okay. Mudkip, did you ever run your student papers through one of those plagiarizing checkers? I really wish we had something like that to scan legal documents and spit out in terms we can understand. Oh yeah, well, the classes I teach, I don't have students write papers. But doing my master's degrees, you have to run all the papers through those things. What's funny is when I did my master's degree in space studies, I took a space law course, one of the required courses. I learned about all the treaties and laws about space and things like that. And I wrote a little paper for the end of the class, like the final paper for the course. And the feedback I got from the professor was like, this would make a really great thesis for your master's. And I thought, rad. Okay, yeah, let's run with that. And so when I wrote my master's paper, which I procrastinated. I procrastinated for months. And the paper was due literally Christmas Eve, 2018. And I wrote it in less than 4 days. Just pulled this thing out of my ass, turned it in, graduated with honors. But the comment I got from my thesis advisor was basically, I can't accept this. You plagiarized someone. I was like, I didn't plagiarize anybody. He's like, yes, it was in a paper submitted by you. You plagiarized yourself. Oh. Because there was like 4 paragraphs that I kept from my original paper for that space law course. And the advisor was like, I don't know if we can allow self-plagiarization, if we can allow that. I'm like, I had to show him the email from the professor saying, hey, it's a great idea. You should use this for your master's thesis. Like, the other professor wanted me to use this for my thesis. And the guy was like, okay, I guess we'll let it slide. But he really didn't want to like let me graduate because apparently I plagiarized myself in a paper that was never published anywhere. Only BLSP Black Death. Hey, Houston. I contacted my broker in Germany to DRS my NextBridge shares AST. They said it is impossible because those shares are physical shares which can't be transferred. This is BS, right? That is BS. They literally mail those shares. And send them the frequently asked questions. I'll post the link to those frequently asked questions. Where are you? NextBridge. Post the link here. Send them this. Put it in the chat. Bam, bam. And have them say like, oh, this is the steps you have to go through to transfer those shares. So they should be able to do it. As Coldplay once said, it was all yellow. Just Bodies Tupperware announced debt restructuring right after the CEO was like, yeah, it might be cooked. They did shorts dirty. Nice. Duty ran the same kind of loan was deal with offered to Tupperware. All right. Can we have a third intro? No. BOH, if a kid tries to fight you to avoid taking a nap, does that mean they are resisting arrest? That's where you get assault and battery. Dillerman's Wharf, 1,000 degrees for 4 days. You're going to sleep next to that? I have a furnace set up in a concrete, don't burn down the house setup. So, I mean, I might have a live cam going. I don't know. People can like alert me, hey, your house is burning down. Oh, shit. But yeah, 1,000 degrees for 4 days is what it's going to take. Hey, good on, Houston. It sounds like you're making the gnarliest and most metal loaf of bread. How you describe it? Michael Hero, Houston. If we sent you a 2-liter bottle of Coke and a pack of Mentos, could you do another experiment for us? Diet Coke, please, not regular Coke, because Diet Coke doesn't have sugar in it, so it doesn't get sticky. Regular Coke has sugar in it, and it makes everything sticky. So, Diet and Mentos, and sure, we can introduce the youth to what we discovered 20 years ago on the internet. Joe Rocco, what is a BlueSky code? BlueSky right now is invite only. It's a alternative to Twitter, short form blog, social media. And they're currently scaling up. So they offer members invite code every 2 weeks. And So those invite codes you can give to somebody else, and that person can then join BlueSky and use their service. They have not introduced direct messaging yet. I want them to so bad, because direct messaging in Twitter for me is the best format possible for me to see messages. Facebook Messenger annoys me because I'll be reading something, all of a sudden the stupid thing is over my screen and I don't want it there. Go away. And Reddit doesn't have a very good DM structure. Like, they won't. I like being able to see a quick sample of what the article I'm being sent is, like a little preview thumbnail, and Reddit doesn't have that. That's annoying. So I really want a good DM program with BlueSky. Amber Fire writes, a new email got sent regarding NextBridge, indicates SEC has to approve their filing. Oh yeah, we saw that. We were cool there. Scott Paul reminded all, it's never a good idea to have someone buy stock for you in their name. It's not yours, it's theirs. Yeah, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. Chris Taylor, Houston. I understand BBY filing requests short positions to be closed, but I don't understand how using bonds and shorts together game them. Kindly enlighten me, good sir. Well, basically, the bondholders hedged their bet by shorting the stock. And when they were offered shares in lieu of the bonds, convertible bonds, none of them agreed and shorted the stock even more, driving the price down. So what the filer is saying is that the bondholders purposely bankrupted the company in order to make more money off of their short positions. And so they had two different interests in the company, and they can't have those two interests go into bankruptcy. They gotta either forgive the bonds or close their short sales. Otherwise, there are two parties in this, and they can't be. They can't both be a party that has interest in the company succeeding and a party that has interest in the company dying. J-Dog, whales have an IQ equivalent to a 15 or 16-year-old human. No wonder they're so angry. Go Mariners. Yes. Have we had our daily reminder that Elon's an idiot? Because he is. He's an idiot. He's currently suing the Center for It's a group that does research. The nonprofit does research on hate groups, and they requested like information. Hey, we're looking for some data from Twitter so we can like do this research project. And Twitter's like, screw you. And then Twitter sued them for using the data they had already given them. How dare you use the data we gave you via our API that we let you use? Free speech. And the group he's suing is the lady who just won the E. Jean Carroll case against Donald Trump and won the case that went to the Supreme Court that basically granted marriage equality for gay and lesbian couples. He's going against one of the best lawyers in the world who is going to clean his fucking clock. That lady is just a champion. She's like 100-0. Just there's no way Twitter's going to win against this lady. I don't care how much money you have. She's going to win. Amber Firelight, what happens in Inner Greenland if it melts? Minerals, mines, plants, animals? Yes. The land will rebound. So the land will uplift a bunch and have a whole bunch of like mountain ranges that are much bigger than they were before. There'll be tons of exposed minerals because that is ancient craton. That is ancient rock. So you're going to have lots of well-cooked metamorphic rocks in there that have gone through dozens of mountain building events. So you'll have diamonds and sapphires and rubies and gold and platinum and just you name it. There'll probably be a bonanza happening in Greenland. And then you'll have also all sorts of weird animals showing up that are placing, the snow-bound ones It'll be an interesting time. And the ocean levels will be 30 feet higher, so we'll deal with that also. Okay, there's the reset. So I'm really far behind. I've got 9 minutes left, and I am an hour and 20 minutes behind. So, XX Houston, watch everything you put out. Great job and knowledge. Am I correct? The S1 from the get-go said brokers would transfer shares to AST for free. That is what it said. There should be but maybe they were saying there'd be no cost on NextBridge's side. That might have been where it was from. But I assume there would be like there should be no fees to transfer this over. But in the frequently asked questions, they're saying that your brokerage may charge you fees for it. So, Grape Knolls, Grape Nuts. If you didn't have to worry about any legal repercussions, what would be your civil disobedience method of choice? Also, what would your BYQ sales strategy be? Not financial advice, of course. Okay. Civil disobedience of choice. Boycott's really easy. You're going to get repercussions for that. I kind of support the guys who like shut down pipelines. Like I totally get it. Like we are cooking this world to death, and I say this as somebody who like loves cars and combustion engines and just is fascinated with them and thinks cool cars are cool, but we're killing the planet with them, and we need better options. I thought it was funny when was it Earth First used black plastic bags to make it look like there was a giant crack in like the Hoover Dam and freaked everybody out. That was funny. That's funny. I don't know. The people who like are like, gluing their hands to paintings and stuff, I don't get that. You know, I don't like destroying pieces of like cultural antiquity. I know that billionaires using them to launder money back and forth, but at the same time, they're still like pieces of cultural antiquity, and I don't say my brain doesn't quite rectify that. I'll think about that one. My BBYQ sales strategy. Honestly, I have no idea where the price would go if and when it squeezes. Not a clue. If it goes to tens of dollars, I'm a happy boy. I'm like, whoa, I got a good chunk of change. If it goes higher than that, holy moly. So it might be one of those things where if it gets to tens of dollars, I sell enough to cover my expenses, and then, you know, work the ladder. Sell some at $20, some at $30, some at $40, some at $50, and just wait until the volume gets to a point where I just feel like it might be over, and then it all else. Yeah, I honestly don't know where to go from there. Adventure with Hunter Houston, do you know anything about Enovix battery technology? Not a thing. Scott Pollen. No, not that one. I don't care about that one. Okay, people fighting in the chat. We're gonna get past that. Reduce Sugar Day 28 with non-tippers Nazis too. You know what? I can neither confirm nor deny that. Logic Dustbin. If you meet an a-hole in the morning, you may admit an a-hole. If you meet an a-hole all day long, maybe you're the a-hole. Yeah. Raylan Givens. Wiser words never said. this person in Korean. I believe the best way to find out she or he is a decent person is to see how the person treat people around them, especially waiters or waitresses. Yeah. If you go on a date with somebody and they treat the server like garbage and they don't tip, red flag, run away. I was on a date. Oh, this is a long time ago. Pre-COVID for sure. Not sure when. And the person was nothing like they had described in their profile. Like in the profile, I'm an outdoorsy person. I love to go hiking and climbing and skiing, do all these things. The person that showed up did not know dick about any of those things. I was like, well, you're kind of lying to me. And then she was really mean to her server. The server was a lovely girl. She didn't deserve it. And this girl was like, oh, servers. And I just like paid the bill and left. I like excused myself, went to the bathroom, paid the bill, and just ghosted the chick. I was out of there. Let her just be like, where is he? What's happening? I was done. That's what you get. That's what you get if you're mean to the servers. For posterity, just got here, so maybe you spoke about the topic. Your thoughts on GME in its current state? Thank you, and happy birthday. I mean, in its current state, it's at a point where it can start possibly, maybe, hopefully, offering dividends. That's what we're hoping for. Space Monkey, hello, and happy birthday to my favorite lefty. As always, great show, and enjoy your streams. A long-time listener, many-time super chatter, Space Monkey. Thank you, Space Monkey, for joining us. And hopefully, well, I'm still an hour behind in the chat, and I've got 2 minutes left. So, if you want to have your things read, do what Space Monkey did. I'm a stripper. We're in the champagne room. Throw it at me. Red-Eye Jedi, Houston up, Houston. So with room temperature superconductor, does that mean I get my Back to the Future hoverboard? Possibly, if we have like cool magnet ramps or something that we can play with them on. Scott Pollen, Blue Lagoon has cool paste to smear all over the skin. Magic power plant runoff. Great for complexion and pores. Terrible for hair. Tupperware is moving more. Amber Fire, explain La Nina and El Nino cycles change the weather patterns. Oh man, I do not have enough time for that. But I will say, it has to do with trade winds coming off of South America, or sorry, Central America. So you get the high pressure zones that happen over the Gulf. It blows winds over Central America, and that wind off Central America hits the coast off of Peru, and it blows away the surface water, causing cold water to upwell. And when those winds shut down, that's when the water gets warmer, and you get this huge band coming off of South America that is El Nino. So La Nina is when the wind's blowing, El Nino is when the wind's not blowing, and that's it. Yeah. Scott Paul in Houston, going to Crystal Mountain tomorrow. Look at Metamorphic Altered Cliff. Might find some opals and other gemstones out there. Which Crystal Mountain? Wait, aren't you in Ibiza? I don't know. Look on mindat.org. Mindat.org, they'll tell you. All right, I gotta get going. Monkey butt. We didn't do any treats. Whoa, sorry, I dropped something on the dog. We'll do some treats here, and then I'll run away. And that'll be that, right? 1, 2. 2 treats from Monkey Butt. Happy dog, end of the show. And gotta get the heck out of here. All right, bud, come here. Come on. Here. Yeah, you got that? Oh, delicious. Delicious. One more in the Jaws cam. There we go. Okay, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do a show tomorrow. Probably tomorrow afternoon, I think. I can't go destroy blackberries anymore. I got tennis elbow in my left arm. Really bad. Doctor says you can't pull weeds. No more pulling weeds until at least summer's over. So yeah, my arm's killing me. I got like a special band I'm gonna have to wear that's coming in tomorrow. So I'll do more daytime shows because I can't go destroy blackberries during the day. Anyway, bye. Happened. Click it. What's that thing I dropped? Was it Altoids? Yeah, it's Altoids. I dropped a box of Altoids on the dog, so there you go.